Hello everyone and welcome to Destination Thrills. I'm Cullah Benz and I'm here with my review of Magnum XL-200 at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. So let's take a look at Magnum XL-200. It was built back in 1989 and it was the world's first hypercoaster when it opened up. It stands at a height of 205 feet and has a drop of 194 feet. The track length is just over 5,000 feet, and it reaches a top speed of 72 miles per hour. Now, the coaster itself features several airtime hills, including some really strong bunny hops at the end. We'll get to those in a moment. It features a few tunnels, a turnaround section, and it gives you great views of Lake Erie. So let's take a look at the ride experience. The first drop is a pretty good first drop. It's nothing too crazy, it's nothing too intense, but it is at 200 feet in the air, so it has a real thrill element to it. Next, you crest this massive airtime hill. It's got a weird shape to it, like you kind of go up, and then you just kind of turn over it, and then you make a left bank turn down into this tunnel, which is a really cool section. Then you hit another mini airtime moment, which gives you a good pop of airtime. And then it turns you left, and what's weird about this is it banks you before it turns you. So a lot of times you'll bank as you're turning. This one literally just banks you, and it feels like it's tipping you out of the ride, and then you go into the turn. It's a pretty funny sensation, and if you're on the left side of the train, it legitimately feels like you're coming out of the ride. It's pretty cool. After you exit this turnaround section, you then hit all these bunny hills, and these bunny hills have some massive ejector airtime with it, and they're so oddly shaped. You kind of turn up, and then you're going at the same angle for like 30 feet, and then all of a sudden, boom, you just snap over the hill, and then you do it again. If you think of like B&M airtime hills, they like gradually go up, and then gradually crest, and then gradually. These are like triangular shaped hills. You just kind of go straight, and then boom, and then it yanks you over the airtime hill. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just a weird and strong sensation, and it just takes you and it is throwing you into the restraints, and that's what gives you the thigh pain. But the airtime is so much fun that it is worth every bruise that I got on my thighs the weekend that I went to Cedar Point. Now, I didn't get to ride it personally, but what I've heard is that the magic seat is row 3. I haven't got to experience it myself, but from what I've heard, row 3 is where it's at. But it also comes with some pain as well, so just keep that in mind. I rode a middle to back seat. I believe it was row 8 or 10 that I rode the first 2 times, and I didn't really get much thigh pain from it. I still got the awesome ejector air, but not as much thigh pain. Then I rode the very front seat for my last ride, and oh my god, it was so painful, but it was so incredible, and this is why Magnum is ranked really high for me. If you haven't seen my Cedar Point top 8 video, you'll notice that it's ranked pretty high on that list. If you haven't checked it out, I'll leave a link above. So obviously, I'm a big fan of Magnum XL. If there was one critique that I had for this coaster, it would kind of be the restraints. Honestly, the restraints I feel like are loose enough and they're good, but they're not padded enough, so when your thighs hit them, they do cause a lot of pain. I think this coaster would be perfect with those B&M clamshell restraints. I know that Steel Dragon over in Japan actually changed their trains to these B&M trains with those clamshell restraints, and I've heard really good reviews from that. If somehow Cedar Point could add those trains to Magnum, I think it would be a completely different ride, and it may be ranked higher than it already is on my list. Alright, so let's get to my ratings of Magnum XL-200. First, intensity. I give intensity a 4.5. The airtime hills are so strong. I'm talking RMC strong airtime hills. You are just being flung out of your seat. It is incredible. Next is fun, and I'm going to give fun a 4.5 as well. It is an incredibly awesome and entertaining coaster. If all the elements throughout the ride were as good as those bunny hops, I would give it a full 5, but the beginning part is kind of meh. Next, let's look at uniqueness. I'm going to give it a 3. The airtime hills in themselves are very unique, but the layout is pretty similar to other models such as Steel Force, etc. And it also features the same type of trains, and it gives you the same type of feel. Just the unique part is the airtime hills are much better on Magnum. Next, let's look at the comfort of the ride. And this is going to get a 2.5. This is about a middle of the road rating for me. The trains are open, so it's hard to not be comfortable sitting down in the trains, and I thought the ride was pretty smooth. It didn't seem too shaky to me in the rows that I sat in, so it came out to be a pretty smooth ride experience for me. The only thing that would keep it from getting a higher rating is the thigh pain. If it wasn't for the thigh pain, I could safely say that this is a comfortable coaster, but many people are going to say that it's not comfortable because of the bruising that you get on your thighs. Next is duration, and for me, this was the perfect length of the ride. I really didn't feel like it was missing anything or I was being shorted out of a ride experience. I thought this was a perfect length. It gave you that first big hill, then the big airtime hill to follow, then the tunnel section, then another airtime hill, then you got the nice turnaround, and then you just have airtime hill after airtime hill after airtime hill. And I thought it was a perfect duration for the ride. It could have been, I say it's a good duration for the ride itself, but I still feel like giving it a 5 would cheat out rides like Voyage and Seal Vengeance, would just give you such a long experience. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4 on duration. And finally, for my overall rating, I'm going to give this coaster a whopping 4.5. And yes, I personally believe that it is worth every bruise on your thigh. This coaster's airtime is so fun. It's so crazy. I don't know if you can see my face on these pictures, but I am just shocked by the pure intensity of those bunny hills. So if you love ejector airtime and you don't mind a little bit of pain or a lot of pain, then Magnum is going to be the ride for you. And yes, like I said, it is worth the thigh pain. So what are your thoughts on Magnum XL-200? Do you believe that it's worth the thigh pain? Do you have any horror stories to share with us about rides that you've had that were so painful? And where does this rank in your list of Cedar Point coasters? Let us know in the comment section. And if you like this video, give it a like. And if you like this channel and want to see more theme park content, definitely hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching and have a great day. Thanks.